In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you how to go from possible to probable with parallel reality shifting. This video is going to show you exactly what to do so that you make what you want to experience a reality. Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you that of parallel reality shifting, understanding the timelines in a new way, to where you know practically what you can do to make something go from possible to probable. And a lot of this has to do with understanding the energy dynamics when it comes to parallel reality shifting. So the first most empowering idea that I know of when it comes to parallel reality shifting is knowing that the reality you want to experience, it already exists. It's already something real somewhere. It's about matching the vibrational frequency of it so that we begin to perceive of it. You know, it's a funny thing. I'm going to see Bashar today, and he's here in Vegas, and a lot of what he teaches is on, parallel reality shifting. One thing that he says a lot, though, is that manifestation is not attracting something from over there to into here. It's more so about making what is invisible visible, because everything exists here and now. So think of it as just different rates of vibration. So when we think of this, think of how can I match the frequency of the version of me that's already doing what I want to do. And when we start to come at it from that perspective, we see that things happen easier than ever when it's about frequency matching versus trying to go through the process in our mind. And I get it too, because we grew up believing that everything had to be very linear. We grew up thinking that things had to be like a past, a present, a future. There was a beginning, a middle, and end. And because of that, we go through this process in our mind of what it takes for us to create something in our life. When it can be much easier when we focus on the vibration, the vibrational feeling of what we want to experience. So first off, understand that the reality you want to experience, it already exists. It's simply about making what is currently invisible visible. And the way you make something go from invisible to visible is by matching the frequency of it. Now, the funny thing is too, is if you go to a Bashar thing, some people go up there and they'll say, is this possible? Is me doing XYZ possible? And Bashar will always say, it is not a matter of something being possible. Anything is possible because there's an infinite number of parallel realities that exist. Even things that would seem to be ridiculous, those are possibilities. It's just maybe not a probability. So the key to this is not asking ourselves the question, is something possible? It's about asking, is it probable? Is it probable? And the way you increase probability in our reality is by simply setting more intentions. When we set intentions, we increase the probability of something happening. And this is also, if you study, there's a guy named Thomas Campbell, who is a guy that has been studying the simulation theory. He has something called the big theory of everything. Big toe is what it's called. I always thought it was funny because he's got this like really legit scientific, he's a physicist, this really big scientific book that's like this thick, and on it, it says my big toe, and it's got like this big simulation toe thing, so it's kind of funny. But toe, theory of everything, has to do with understanding that we live within a virtual reality. Now, this may seem a little bit scary. It's not scary though. It's very empowering. We are immortal spiritual beings living temporary human experiences, and we forget who we are. And because of that, what happens is we go through that veil of forgetfulness, but in the reality system that we have, what increases probability is intention. He says that all the time. The Thomas Campbell guy that I'm talking about, he talks about how anytime we want to experience something, we set more intentions. And intentions are the compass needle putting us in a certain direction. So think about it more in terms of intention increases probability. You might say, what is intention? What is intention? Intention is a determination, and even beyond that, I would say a declaration of something that you quote unquote want as a present fact. So think of it like there's a difference between just desire and intention. Like if I have, this is a reality transurfing concept, if I have a desire to put up my hand, that's just a desire to put up my hand. But it doesn't actually become actualized until I set the intention. Because once I set the intention, I just naturally do it. But the thing is a lot of people may be stuck in the desire. And when we're stuck in desire, we're stuck in a reality where that is the case, where we desire it. We always get that which we are the vibration of. So there's a difference in the vibrational feeling or the vibration of wanting something versus having something. So intention helps to close that bridge, because then we go from the vibration of wanting something to the vibration of already having it. So it's about being aware of the energy dynamics that go on with this process of knowing what we want already exists. So if it already exists, then how do we match the frequency of it? And setting the intention is the most powerful thing. Set more intentions. When it comes to segment intending, for example, segment intending is when you intend for certain parts of your day to go in a certain way. So you could set intention for many different small things. I set intention like when I'm getting up in the morning to have a great meditation. After my meditation, to have a great cold shower. And then to have a great video that I'm filming. And then after the video, I'll set the intention to enjoy going to the gym. And to have a great workout. And even to drive safe going to the gym. These little intentions compound over time. And intentions increase probability. They've done these scientific experiments as well when it comes to physics with intention. Depending on the focus of the observer, what happens, that affects the result of many different types of experiments. And the reason being is because there's many different probable systems, many different probable realities, but what determines which one we perceive of depends upon our intention and our focus. So understand that for parallel reality shifting and timelines in general, the way you make something go from possible to probable is first off simply intention. It's intention. And the second thing I want to talk about is believability. This threshold of believability. Belief. If you don't believe it to be true, if you don't believe it to be possible or probable, then it will stay in that possible realm. Yes, of course it's possible, but is it probable? It depends on your belief about it. So start to ask yourself the question. You may say, well, I believe, I want a certain amount of money in the bank. But do you believe that you can have it? Do you believe you deserve it? Do you believe you know what the steps to take to get there? Do you believe that it's a present fact, or is it something you just desire? Because remember, if you desire, the parallel reality of desiring something is very different than the parallel reality of having something or intending for something. Imagine it's like the universe is always giving you a message of and answering you with yes. This is something that I got from Dr. Neil Donald Walsh, I believe, if he's a doctor. But he has this thing where he's like using the metaphor of like, imagine you say you want something and God says, yes, you do, over and over again. So you're like, I want to be happy. And God's like, yes, you do want to be happy. Yes, you do want that. But it's emphasizing that you don't already have it. So it's like we're always projecting ourselves to the future. So instead what we can do is realize that the vibrational frequency of the reality we want to experience, it already exists, and we can live in that frame, live as if our cup is already that full. And by doing so, we begin to experience it more in our life. But the question I have for you, and the question that I like to always bring to the table, because this is like my thing that I like to talk about a lot, is like belief. Do you believe you deserve that which you want? Do you believe it's even possible? I was listening to Tony Robbins yesterday when I was at the gym, and he was talking about how he was talking about this coach that he was coaching. This was from an NFL team, and he was coaching a coach. The coach that he was coaching a team who has a whole bunch of world-class athletes. And what he said, the reason the coach wasn't able to really help the people, one of the things he was doing is after they lost a game, he would go in there and he'd be like, listen everyone, we're going to give 25% more than we've been giving. And when he said 25% more, a lot of these are world-renowned athletes, NFL players, they looked at each other and they said, we can't give 25% more. We can't give that much more. We've been giving everything our all. So what Tony told them to do is a little bit of reverse psychology. So instead what he did is he went in and he said, you know what? I apologize for saying do 25% more. It's impossible for you guys to do 25% more because you guys have already been giving it your all. The reason Tony told them that was impossible is because they didn't believe they could give 25% more. Because 25% more when you're already gassed out, it's like, how can I do even more? How can I give even more? I'm already so tired. So what he told him to say instead was, listen, you guys are already giving it everything you possibly can. Let's, from this point going forward, let's just understand we're doing the best we can, and we did the best we could, blah, 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 blah. Maybe we'll get a little bit better if we try really hard. Now, the purpose of Tony telling him to tell the team that was because if you tell world-renowned athletes that you did the best you could, you have nothing else left to give, the way they work is they say, I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to give you even more. You're telling me I can't give 1% more? No, I'm going to give 10% more. You see, it's the psychology of it and the belief of believability, the threshold of believability. So when it comes to this, the reason I'm sharing that is because it's like the threshold of believability. Before, they thought that wasn't possible to give 25% more. But if you have 4 or 5 players giving 1% more, that adds up over all the different players. And then you may actually have 25% more an increase, but it's because that 1%, 1%, 1% increased the level of believability, and it makes it even more probable. But also they were using psychology there to, in a way, mess with these world-renowned athletes. Because if you tell, I know I'm like that too, you tell me I can't do something, I'm going to do it. This is kind of like this rebel part of me, but many people are like that as well. So understand that when it comes to this process, when it comes to parallel reality shifting, it's about understanding the believability you have with it as well. Do you believe it to be true? If you don't, pay attention to the version of you that does believe it to be true or does believe it to be possible, because as you pay attention to that version of you, you begin to take on the characteristics of that version of you. You begin to take on that thought patterns of that version of you, take on the habits of that version of you. Now, something else I want to talk about is the difference between action and intention. You want to know the difference between action and intention? There is none. What you do is a direct reflection of what you believe. First off, someone may say, I intellectually understand that if I were to let go of this bad habits, then it would benefit my life. But if they intellectually understand it, but they continue to do it, then they don't really get it. Because intention and action and belief are all in alignment. You must still have some negative belief that's keeping you from making that jump, making that shift of letting go of that habit, because you believe that somehow that habit is comfortable or whatever it is. So there is no difference between intention and action. They're both the same thing. So ask yourself, what do you believe to be true? If you say, oh, I believe that I can, make more money, well, are your actions backing that up, or is it just some intellectual idea? Are you going out and are you finding ways to do that? Are you finding people that have done something similar before? Are you modeling their behavior, or are you creating it for yourself? Are you creating your own way? Because your actions will be mirrored that with intention. So the last little thing I want to talk about is something I think is so powerful. It's called assuming the wish fulfilled. It's from Neville Goddard, is where I first heard it. Assuming the wish fulfilled. Every night when you go to bed, assume the wish fulfilled. Assume that that reality is currently yours. Assume that you are the best version of yourself. Intend for it, but live in it. Live as that version of you. Don't want any parallel reality because you think the things you have in it will make you feel better. Be it because it is who you are. You see, there's a difference in the subtlety there. One we're using as a side effect. Sometimes people say, I want to make a certain amount of money. Money's a side effect of you doing what you love and of you adding value in the marketplace. That's what money is. Money is a side effect of it. However, when we focus on just the money, we're focused on the side effect instead of getting to the cause of who you really are. What are you passionate about? What do you feel like you don't really have to work at? What is easy for you to put your energy in a certain direction for? What gets you in the morning to where you're excited to wake up? These are things that if you haven't found yet, it's okay. But set the intention to find out what it is and understand that the more you exist in that energy state, the more things come as a reflection. But the energy state is the focus, not the money, not the side effects of that. It's the energy state. So focus on the parallel reality you want to experience. Embody this state of being, the vibration, the beliefs, the assuming the wish fulfilled of that version of you. By focusing on the energy of it versus the side effects of it. And by doing so, over time, it will become easier and easier for you, and you will turn something that's possible into probable. There's a fly that keeps coming on me. Go possible to probable. That's what you can begin to do. So, something else that I have for you right now is the top meditation I have for raising the vibrational set point. It's on the top description box below. Listed for 21 days. I think it could change your life. Also, I'm going to be doing more live Q&As on Instagram. So if you haven't followed me on Instagram yet, you'll see that right here. I post twice a day there. Plus, I do live Q&As all the time. So if you have questions for me, you can ask me questions. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the little notification gear so you can see the daily vids that I do. And other than that, as always, peace, much love, and namaste.